Okay guys, so here's a picture of the things that you're going to need. I'll also try to list them down below. And first what you want to do is take the cup of heavy cream and put it in a bowl and whip it and get it as thick as you can, like a cloud, kind of like. Also, sometimes your heavy whipping creams don't whip up very well. I noticed that Great Value doesn't whip up very well. At least it didn't for me. So just, keep whipping, and, it might take a few minutes to get it to this thick consistency of like a cloud. But just try it for a few minutes, see if it works out. So once you get it to that thickness, go ahead and add your vanilla extract. Then next you're going to grab your liquid stevia and add that to the mix. Then after that you're going to want to go ahead and add the extra virgin olive oil to that as well. Then if you want to add the coconut oil, I would go ahead and add that as well, but make sure it's melted, because I've tried it before when it wasn't, and it was clumpy and it didn't work out too well. So I'd go ahead and melt the coconut oil and then let it cool off before you use it. Then go ahead and give it a good mix. Make sure it's mixed in really, really well. And you just want to make sure it's mixed in really well, because like I said, if it's clumpy, if the coconut oil is clumpy, it just didn't mix well. So anyways, go ahead and do that. And the reason that I add the oils to it is to keep the ice cream soft. I don't like to add the other ingredients that you can add to keep the ice cream soft. I use the oil. It is a little bit oily, like when you eat the ice cream or the popsicle or whatever you're going to make out of it. A little oily, but once it gets warm in your mouth, it just goes away. Okay, so once you get it blended well, go ahead and kind of, just push it to the middle so you can get everything that was on the side mixed in well. Go ahead and add your sweetener. And then you're going to want to add your protein powder too as well. I like to use this protein powder, the vanilla cream. Let's see, the isolate protein. I think it's whey. But anyways, the specs on it are pretty good for being, over-the-counter store-bought. There's like 2 carbs per serving, and then less than 1 gram of sugar. And then it has a lot of vitamins and some amino acids in it, so it's pretty good, I think. And I noticed too about the protein powder, it tastes really good like when you're mixing it with recipes, like when I've used it for the pumpkin smoothie and a few other things. It just mixes and makes things taste really well. Yeah, so you want to give that a good mix too, and then push your side down. Once you get the sides down and it's all mixed, go ahead and give it a little taste and make sure it's like sweet enough to your taste, or because you can add a little bit more sweetener if you want to. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Just really nice and fluffy. If it doesn't look like that, I mean, I don't know if it'll affect it or not, but it might still freeze up real good. A lot of things freeze really well and still taste good, so I would just say I kind of like it at this consistency, like thick like a cloud. So once you're done and you got to your sweetness level, I would just go ahead and get you a Ziploc bag, or if you have a cake decorator thing, you can use that too. But this is easier because you can just throw it away and you don't have to clean anything up. And then once you get it in there, close it up, and then you're going to want to cut the corner. My scissors I used didn't work real well, but anyways, go ahead and, like I said, fill it up, close it up, and then go ahead and you're going to start filling up your popsicle molds there. And if you don't want to use popsicle molds, you can use anything. You can use like little mini muffin pan. I would make sure it's silicone though, because if you get the silicone muffin pans, stuff pops out real well. You can also use the liners too, that works fine too. It's just easier not to have to use the liners. Once you start filling up your popsicle molds, sometimes it doesn't get all the way to the bottom, and so you're going to want to take some kind of a spoon or something. I used a little utensil that came with my ice cream maker. I don't use the ice cream maker all the time to make ice cream though. These are popsicle things that you can just pop in the freezer. You don't have to have a ice cream maker. But yeah, that's my little utensil. So yeah, just make sure it's covering all the walls when you push the ice cream down. And then go ahead and put some more in, and then push it down. You kind of have to work with it a little bit if you use these molds, because the heavy whipping cream, the fluff, is obviously not heavy enough to push it down there by itself. So you're going to have to work with it a little bit. And the cool thing about using the see-through ones is you can, you know, look at it and see if it's down into the walls of the mold. So go ahead and finish them off. You're almost done. You can also, you know, tap it down a little bit and see if you can get any little bubbles or any little empty spots filled up. So once you're done doing that and you get it, you know, everything close to the top, and go ahead and clean off the top a little bit around the rims, and then put your little stick pieces in. And if it comes out a little bit at the top, just wipe it off a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you don't want to have too much, you know, popping out of there if you're trying to get them to neat looking. Okay, once you're done with that, you can get your little silicone muffin thing and go ahead and fill up the extra, or you can just use that to begin with. You know, make do with whatever you got. You don't have to just run out and buy stuff if you can't afford it or don't want to. I like putting them in this little silicone mold too, and so it kind of helps you with portion control, or I'll have to figure out the macros. I don't know if there's enough fat for it to be a fat bomb, but anyways, it makes for little bites, and it's good for little kids if you're doing portion control for them too. Okay, after you're done, go ahead and freeze it, and then see how this little mold, my little muffin mold, he just pops right out. The top part is more like a solid, and then the muffin tin part, just you can push your finger up and it just pops right out. It's really cool, and it wasn't that expensive. Freezing time would probably be anywhere from 45 minutes on. Okay, once they're done, go ahead and get them out of the molds. What I do is I kind of scrape around the top edge of the popsicle mold thing that I have, so that it's easier to take it out. And warm it up a little bit. You can maybe run it under the warm water for a few seconds, or I just rub my hand on it and then just kind of rock it back and forth real slowly. Otherwise, it might break off inside. Okay, so once you get them out, go ahead and put your orange syrup or whatever you call it on top, and then after it's frozen, of course, and then you're going to want to freeze it again. The first batch of orange syrup I made was kind of chunky. It did taste good though after it was frozen and I tried it and took a bite. It was really good, but I kind of wanted like a smoother one. And so what I decided is to try to just guess on some ingredients to make it taste right. And so what I did is I took some heavy whipping cream, put it in a bowl, and then I got the maple extract, some swerve, powdered swerve of course, and then some food coloring. I used like red and yellow to make orange. And what I did is just put in a little bit at a time of your like swerve. Maybe try a half of teaspoon or tablespoon, and then mix it. Just put a few drops or so of orange extract, or you know what I mean, like an eighth of a teaspoon or a fourth of a teaspoon, and just keep tasting it until it tastes right and it tastes good. And then just do it that way. I didn't write down how much how much I used to get this. I just kind of eyeballed it and tasted it, and so it seemed to taste good. And I didn't know if it was going to freeze well on top of the popsicles or the other one, but it turns out that it tasted good, and it turned out. And maybe you all know a better way to make the orange part that goes on the outside of a orange sickle and make it low carb or keto style. So I'll go ahead. If you know how to do it better, go ahead. And if you want to do it this way, you surely can too. I'm definitely not a professional chef, but I just like to make things, and if it tastes good, it tastes good. If it works, it works. Okay, once I was all done with that, I went ahead and put it over my frozen vanilla little muffin thingies, or little bites, or whatever you want to call it, or whatchamacallit. Just kidding. Anyways, after that, just put it back in the freezer. I would suggest probably putting it on something, you know, that you can peel it off of better, because a glass plate doesn't work very well. And also go ahead and do your little vanilla popsicle things, and then pop those back in the freezer too. It doesn't take very long for the orange part to freeze on top of a frozen item. Anyways, probably anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes. Oh yeah, also I suggest doing like one side and then letting that freeze a little bit and then turning it around on the other side so it doesn't mess up your cute design. And they're all done. Aren't they so pretty? Just kidding. Anyways, they taste really good. I decided not to waste the first batch of orange cream or syrup I made, so I just decided to make some little orange frozen bites, and they turned out okay, not too bad, because they don't seem like it's too chunky when it's frozen and you're eating it, but they tasted fine. And that's what I did with the rest of the orange cream I had after I covered everything too. So there you have it. My son loves it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for supporting.